Good morning.
And a happy new year from both of us at Smacktalking Amigos.
At the Smacktalking Amigos with Mr. Kean Davidson.
Yep. Who
That's
is
you.
a bit under the weather, and I apologise I haven't made my predictions for 2017, but at the end of the show today I will.
You'll be making predictions then.
Yep.
And it's Mr. James Bernard. We of course are the what are we? The crack-taking friends, or the rack-talking boys, or the no, it's not. It's the Smack-talking Amigos.
Yes.
At Talking Smack. Please hashtag Smack-talking Amigos. Been tweeting quite a lot this past couple of weeks, haven't we?
Before we get into that, I would like to congratulate the new 2-times champ. You won the robot block predictions.
I'm not quite the double champ at the moment, am I? Just a single champ.
Yeah.
But it does look good around my shoulder, a lot better than any sort of title looks around Roman Reigns' shoulder, which finally we don't have to talk about after this week's Raw. Now, can I just say one thing? I think it's really been to do with the Smacktalking Amigos, that SmackDown has really taken over from Raw for me.
Yeah, I think it has. Raw again was extremely poor. The HBK segment, awful.
I was so disappointed with that. They were talking
I actually feel like I want to go to a cinema on January 20th and just burn it.
I don't know if you can say that on video anymore.
Oh, sorry. Joke.
But for me, HBK is my favourite wrestler of all time.
Yeah.
I said that a number of times. He'll be my number one. And what a disappointment that was. I was thinking that HBK is going to be there to announce his entry in the Royal Rumble.
Yes,
Or a match with the likes of Seth Rollins. You know, Rollins doesn't...
I honestly thought that Seth Rollins was going to come out and confront him. And HB Shizzle was going to say, if you get through me, you can't get H.
The whole segment was weird, and Jinder Mahal and Rusev working together is weird.
Yeah, that's even weirder. Jinder Mahal is actually on live TV.
And the segment with Enzo and Cass was also weird. I love Enzo and Cass. You know, we're the biggest advocates of Enzo and Cass, but come on, it's time to let that feud go. Let Rusev feud have a big feud like he deserves.
So, just in terms, the whole segment was weird.
It was just weird. It wasn't that... It was bad, but more than bad, it was just very weird.
Yeah.
Can I just say, the WWE champion, the Universal champion, sorry, Kevin Owens, who banned us from his Twitter. Now, I've said it on my predictions, that was something that you said, but it wasn't so bad what you said, was it? You said that it's been a disappointing Universal Championship reign, which we both agree it has been. Although he is continuing to hold on to that title, and we hope that he holds. We've been biggest advocates to say we hope he holds that title instead of Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. Or I've been the guy that said that. You haven't said that. I'm putting words into your mouth.
Yeah, a lot of things on Twitter you have said yourself, like I hope Natty wins the Women's Championship on SmackDown in 2017.
I wouldn't mind to see Natty win the Women's Championship. I love Alexa Bliss, but
Bet you do.
In terms of Kevin Owens, I would like to say from the bottom of my heart, James Bernard, from the Smacktalking Amigos, we're terribly sorry for saying that.
I'm not apologising. All I said was it was the worst, possibly the worst reign ever. What it was.
Let's talk about what's been going down on Raw, of course. We saw Chris Jericho win the US title. Great match.
Yeah, it was a great match. 2-on-1 handicap match. We saw, again, powerbomb to a code breaker, what Roman kicked out of, but he couldn't kick out of the code breaker done through the ropes.
Exactly.
And we have a new US champion, and I do send out my congratulations to the one and only Y2J on becoming one of the only Grand Slam champion winners in WWE.
It was his first time he had won the US title. We forget because he's won the Intercontinental title, a record I think over 10 times. I think we forget that he hasn't ever won the US title. He won that US title. You saw him celebrate, and it was interesting because I saw the interview from after, and they said the joint US champion, Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho, they now have the monopoly of championships.
They do.
Until the Royal Rumble, which I think we're going to see with Roman Reigns losing the US title this week, I think it is setting up for Roman Reigns being a 3 or 4 time world champion.
But on to Seth Rollins. He just has a bit between his teeth against Braun Strowman. It started with Stephanie McMahon giving her performance review to Mick Foley, saying you've got 1 hour to save your job if you do not produce The Undertaker. Strowman came in, requested that he had Reigns or Goldberg. Obviously Goldberg wasn't in the arena, so Rollins just took matters into his own hands.
And I think Rollins did a great job against Braun Strowman. I know we've been saying for a while now, or for a few weeks at least, that Seth Rollins has been sort of in limbo a tiny bit. I think the Strowman feud could do him. I think he could do worse than having a feud with Braun Strowman.
Yeah, I'd like this feud to culminate with a US title opportunity.
For either one of them.
Yeah.
That
I don't
could
mind
work.
who it is, I'm a huge Seth fan.
I think we'll see Seth probably eliminate Braun at the Royal Rumble or get a double elimination, because we've heard that Seth has put his name in the hat for the Royal Rumble.
Oh, yeah,
By the way, Raw has some huge names in the hat of the Royal Rumble, more so than SmackDown.
Yeah, this is another point why I don't think HBK announced himself, because I think there's too many old wrestlers in it now. Already.
With Goldberg and Taker, Triple H probably going to come back at some point in the Royal Rumble. There will be some surprise entries, so I'm sure it'll be older wrestlers.
Are you as bold, are WWE as bold as doing H versus Reigns too?
They could do H versus Reigns too, but I think the big payoff is H Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
I think we said it for a number of weeks. I think
maybe Rollins gets down to the last 2 and H costs him.
I think Braun will cost him. I think because I can't see how Braun's going to get eliminated if it's not Seth Rollins, apart from by perhaps Goldberg.
Actually, it was funny because I was watching the Royal Rumble from last year, and Brock Lesnar was just a one-man dominating
Wrecking machine.
He eliminated the whole Wyatt family. I think it took 10 clotheslines to eliminate Braun Strowman. So
They're still struggling to get him off his feet. One of the only times we saw him get off his feet was last week, where we saw the double spear, or a spear in stereo, as I like to call it. But I think the Royal Rumble match is going to be interesting, and the man who put his name in the hat is the man who is my prediction for the 2017 Royal Rumble winner. I said it on my predictions before this week happened. That is the Dead Man.
he's dug 29 holes
29
for 29 souls, and he's bringing the dark side to the Royal Rumble. And
My only thing with seeing The Undertaker, and this is really, not unfortunately, but it's the state of wrestling at the moment. We're used to seeing these reality-based stars. We're not used to seeing a man who's been named as the Dead Man for his career. We're used to seeing these reality-based stars. So when I saw him on TV, it did seem a bit old-fashioned. His speech seemed a bit old-fashioned, but then you think it's the legend, it's The Undertaker. He can do whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah, he can do whatever the hell he wants, and it will be a very, very sad day when he finally calls it a day and he stops wrestling. We also know that WrestleMania 34 is back in New Orleans.
New Orleans, near Baton Rouge, boys.
The Undertaker was part of that press conference, so that could be a slight indication that he'd be wrestling until 34.
I definitely think we're going to see him at the WrestleMania, 100%, but I think we see him on a more full-time roster before the end of the year.
Yes,
He looked in shape.
I think he has one more title reign in him, and I think he is in the best shape than he has been.
He's in a better shape than he was when he fought Brock Lesnar 3 years ago.
I think that match took massive amounts of pain on him. Because if you're thinking about it, he ate 5 F5s and went to Suplex City multiple times.
Anyone that goes to Suplex City is in for a huge pain experience, and for someone of The Undertaker's age at the time. Remember, he's not so old, The Undertaker. He's not so old.
No, he's what, 50?
I think 51,
Yeah, I think he's around the same age as Goldberg.
But he's a beat up 51. No offence to Taker, but when you've been wrestling for almost 30 years from when you're 20 years old, we give you credit. You can do whatever you want. The women's,
I like it. I like Sasha and I like Bayley because it's kind of like, who's mummy of that segment?
I was disappointed to see Bayley get pinned by Nia Jax?
I think it's good that they are doing that. Bayley could easily have pinned Nia Jax again, but to see her get beat up, will
And then have a payoff.
Yeah, don't have a payoff at the Royal Rumble.
But Nia Jax is very, very dominant, and it's going to be interesting when we eventually see Nia Jax versus Charlotte.
Yeah.
Because we've not seen Charlotte handled by anybody in that way before. We've seen Sasha Banks out-wrestle her.
Yeah.
We've seen Bayley put perhaps a little bit more heart in, but she puts more heart in than anyone. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when Nia Jax and Charlotte Flair face each other. But the other women's wrestler I want to talk about is, she's coming in about, let me just check my watch, 3.5 years, Emelina.
I had concerns about the Kurt Hawkins promo, and this is going as long as it, but she is better than Kurt Hawkins, and I think she will debut at the Royal Rumble.
In what capacity? During the Charlotte and Bayley match, perhaps?
During the Charlotte and Bayley match, and she will beat down on Bayley.
I think she'll be down on Bayley. I think so. I
The
think it
new
would give
women's
it gives
champion.
another little feud, and Emelina needs to come in a big way because she's had a big build up. They can't let what happened to Kurt Hawkins.
Sorry.
You sound terrible. You can't let what happened to Kurt Hawkins on SmackDown happen on Raw.
No. But I can't think.
You can't think, can you? Your brain's turned to mush. Tag teams.
Tag teams. Sheamus and Luke Gallows put in I quite enjoyed that
A solid match. The only thing that I do notice is that when the New Day were the tag team champs, the tag team titles got a lot of time on Raw.
Yes.
With Sheamus and Cesaro, they're now being pushed down the card again, and the New Day are above them on the card. The New Day overcame having that tag team title as an award and took it to the next level in their popularity. Whereas Sheamus and Cesaro haven't done that yet, but I think they will.
Do you give it back to him?
No. I think you keep off of them for a bit. I want to see them build new tag teams. I don't. Again, it's the same thing with Gallows and Anderson. I think that they're waiting for Finn Balor to come back. I think they're waiting for Nakamura to come through. I think they're waiting for someone to give Gallows and Anderson a bit more of a purpose, because they just haven't clicked in the WWE in the same way they clicked in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
No, in New Japan Pro Wrestling they were dominant as. I think you're right. I think when Finn Balor returns, whether it's at the Royal Rumble or whether it's at Fastlane or whenever, or Shinjuku Nakamura will come through soon to form the Bullet Club, and I think it will be a massive faction. As we know, Chris Hero has recently signed with NXT, and he was a member of the Bullet Club in New Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And
talking of New Japan Pro Wrestling,
Kenny Omega is rumoured, as John Cena put out another picture like he did of AJ Styles just before the Royal Rumble, of just Kenny Omega.
which would be amazing.
And if you haven't watched it already, I
Match of the year.
recommend. It was the match of the year already. I don't care what anyone says.
We're 11 days into the year, and this is the match of the year.
Kenny Omega versus Okada. It was an absolute epic. It was probably better than AJ Styles versus Nakamura last year.
And slugfest after slugfest after slugfest. What a match!
Yeah.
And Wrestle Kingdom was fantastic.
Wrestling Kingdom was fantastic, and if it was out of 10, they are saying that it was a 12 out of 10. It was fantastic.
For me, WrestleMania should take a look at Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, it needs to, because I think over the last 2 years it's been outshone by Wrestling Kingdom.
Oh, hugely outshone. However, they do focus more on the wrestling, and it does take away from their wider audience a little bit. We understand that WrestleMania does have to have a music act. It does have to have a return of a big star. It does have to have these big epic matches. However, learn a little bit from the storytelling at Wrestle Kingdom. That would be my advice to WWE.
Yeah.
Moving on to SmackDown.
Moving on to SmackDown.
Another really good week for me on SmackDown.
Are the Wright family imploding?
I think they might be. We saw...
Luke Harper deliver a kick to Bray Wyatt.
Yep. We saw that. We saw Randy deliberately knock Luke Harper off the apron.
Yep.
We saw American Alpha retain their titles, which we were always happy to see. But we said, and we'll stick by this, I don't know if you will, but I'll stick by this, the new Wyatt family should have taken over SmackDown.
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt should have been world champion. Luke Harper should have been, now Miz doesn't have it, IC champion. They should have held the Intercontinental Championships, and Randy Orton doesn't need a title because he's a big enough draw not to have it.
I've said time and time again, and I'll continue to say that Bray Wyatt, they were teasing a main event push last year when he came face to face with Triple H.
Yeah.
But it hasn't materialised, and it's very hard to see Bray Wyatt doing well in the Royal Rumble with all the big names we've got: Brock Lesnar, Goldberg, Seth Rollins, Chris Jericho.
For me, if there's any superstar that's been wasted in the WWE compared to what he could and should have been, especially when he fought The Undertaker, which was 2 years back now, is Bray Wyatt. Because he had coming out of that John Cena match at WrestleMania, which he lost again, he had so much attention on him.
He did, and the match against Taker was built up as passing of the guard, really. Very much like I think Taker versus Cena will be built up as passing of the guard, even though Cena's 39. But in that sense, if you know what I mean, that it's legend versus legend, and he wants to pass. You can't.
Well, you're just rambling on. You don't know what's going on, do you? In your head and 39.
Yeah.
And past time. I tried to make it rhyme. I did think of something before, but you rambling. I couldn't think about it. But 39, and is he past it, John Cena? I don't think he is, because we saw him systematically take apart Baron Corbin this week. Take him apart.
Don't you ever mention John Cena past it in the same sentence. His name is John Cena, recognise.
For a start, I think he's doing some great mic work against AJ Styles. I think that's the most interesting thing we're seeing.
John Cena has been... I forgot what he said. I'm not with it today.
Really not?
No, I'm not. Let's go on to...
let's talk about the match. Baron Corbin, John Cena.
Yeah, Baron Corbin did a few good spots with Cena.
Had some good spots. Looks like he could be a future main eventer. I think... Give him some time. I think by, in 6 months, if he's still up there in the main event scene, he's still facing against Cena, he's still facing against Styles, then we could say, all right, you know what? We'll give you a title to run with. The only thing is that his in-ring psychology isn't quite there yet. No. You look at Styles' psychology, okay, who's not as a bigger mic worker as Cena was when he came into the WWE, although he's improved massively. Yeah. His psychology within the ring, you know what he's doing. Baron Corbin is just a little bit jolted at the moment, but that's only experience.
And I feel that John Cena trusts AJ Styles more.
Implicitly.
Because he knows he has been there. The match at Money in the Bank, was it? The first match was an instant classic because they just trusted each other. 22 minutes of pure entertainment.
And I think the Royal Rumble, we're going to see an even better match.
Yeah.
This is the match I'm looking forward to most, I think, at the Royal Rumble. And I think AJ has a serious chance at that match. The other match that, if we do see the rematch, would be interesting, would be, unfortunately, our losing Intercontinental Champion, The Miz, versus Dean Ambrose, who finally is doing some fun things for me. He's looking like the Dean Ambrose of the old. And let me tell you, I don't know if you agree with me, we haven't discussed this, I think Dean Ambrose is better suited as a chasing upper card wrestler rather than the top of the card. So, holding a US title, holding an Intercontinental title, but chasing that world title, being the guy that can turn around and say, I'm going to kick your ass, kicking their ass, and then getting beaten just.
I think all members of the Shield are.
You did say that to me last week.
I think all members of the Shield are better at chasing than being the top guy, apart from maybe who made the Authority really stick. Was it Seth Rollins? Was it Triple H? Was it Stephanie? Because that was a fantastic
little angle.
Yeah.
Going on there.
But I think all Shield members, I think we'll see the best of Roman Reigns now. I think we'll see the best of Seth Rollins. Oh yeah, that's one point I've got to bring up against Seth Rollins is that Rock Culture voted him #1 most disappointing wrestler in 2016. By God, he was out for 7 months of it with injury. So how could he be?
And he's come back and decided to put on the best match. Still fantastic matches. Obviously, he has to take down his style a bit because he's just come back off the most hugest injury that would normally put people out for a career.
Yeah, he totally blew out his knee, all ligaments.
And he came back early. Not quite as early as Super Cena, but I mean John Cena just doesn't really
rest.
I saw him do a deadlift the other day, 300 kilos.
I saw
on a 200 and something.
I saw Ric Flair do a deadlift, 60 odd years old, 440 pounds.
Ridiculous. Oh no, it wasn't a deadlift, it was a bench press.
Yeah, I saw
Unbelievable.
that.
Sorry, we're going completely off the subject. But Seth Rollins, yeah, I don't think he's been the most disappointing wrestler this year at all.
No, I don't think he has.
But I don't like voting on who has been the most disappointing because I prefer to vote on what's been the best things about this year, which we did on the last episode. So sorry, What Culture, we do love you and we do love what you say, but we're not voting on the most disappointing.
No.
That's the story from the Smacktalking Amigos. Right.
Going on to the Dean Ambrose Miz segment, Miz got the participation award.
You often win the participation award when we do the predictions championships.
Yeah.
But it was good to see. It's good to see Renee Young being a bit involved, which I think is quite funny because they've admitted to their on-air relationship. The couple they haven't.
And I like the new Maurice, really.
I like the new Maurice.
I do as well. Head.
I do as well. The relationship they haven't admitted to, which we don't know what the hell's going on, is the love of my life, Carmella, and the love of your life, James Ellsworth.
Wow.
What did I say? I said 3 weeks ago, I said I sat in my bed and I prayed James Ellsworth not win the title, and he didn't win the title.
Thank God, because you would have done Smacktalking Amigos in the nude.
Him in the nude. But I do quite like, this is coming from me, I do quite like the angle with Carmella and James Ellsworth. It gives a bit of purpose to James Ellsworth, it makes it quite funny. Carmella's winning and winning and winning, and eventually we'll see Carmella get a women's title shot because of how well she's doing.
Yeah, she's a fantastic wrestler, and I'll go on to the point again. People were lambasting the draft because SmackDown didn't have the better talent. They have the better women's talent, in my opinion. They have the better tag team talent, in my opinion. And you could argue, when they are all working, they've got a better men's talent.
It's not that I don't think they've necessarily got the better men's talent. I don't think they've got the better drawing men's talent, but I think they have the better men's talent.
Yeah, better men's talent in in-ring ability.
Yeah, I agree. And the other feud that's been really impressing me is Alexa Bliss
and Becky Lynch
versus your girl Becky Lynch.
Yeah, the Irish Lass Kicker, and it will take part in a steel cage match
next week. Daniel Bryan is continuing to make these huge matches. We saw the tag team title this week, of course, put on the line against Alpha being very impressive. We've already said the Wyatt family imploding. Next week we're going to see a women's title match inside a steel cage. Never before happened on SmackDown.
No.
SmackDown are doing these continuous things that are pushing it above Raw.
This is another thing. I think it was on Rock Culture again, or Pro Wrestling, I don't know what it was, but why is Raw faltering so much compared to SmackDown? Whereas SmackDown is going up in height, Raw is just dropping, imploding.
My opinion is this: I think that Raw has an hour's too long TV.
Do you cut it back to 2 hour?
I cut it back to 2 hour, and I give the Cruiserweights their own show, because
they do have their
own show, 205 Live. I like the Cruiserweights a lot, but what is the one thing that we do not ever seem to talk about on Smacktalking Amigos is the Cruiserweights.
Yep.
Because they're not getting over. Now, they've decided to add Neville to that, but for me, you want to make the Cruiserweights big, they need a couple of big stars. Add Dolph Ziggler to it.
Yeah.
And add Kalisto to it.
Yeah.
Kalisto, Dolph Ziggler, Neville, and the Brian Kendrick.
Going on to Dolph Ziggler.
New attitude,
new heelish side.
Love it.
Totally beat down Kalisto and Apollo Crews with a steel chair.
And on Talking Smack this week, not to be mistaken for Smack Talking Amigos, Thank you, WWE. Dolph Ziggler put his name in the hat for the Royal Rumble. Any chance?
No.
No chance whatsoever.
No.
Last 4, probably?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
So who eliminates Dolph Ziggler? Kalisto?
I've got Lesnar or Goldberg.
Yeah, you can't look much further than that, can you?
No.
Can't look much further than that at all. I can't wait for the whole list of the Royal Rumble to come out. I know we're going to have some surprise entries.
A whole list of the Royal Rumble, 20 names have been put in already, I think.
I'm trying to think who's gone in from SmackDown. So we've got Baron Corbin, obviously.
We've got Baron Corbin, we've got Dean
Dolph
Ambrose.
Ziggler, Dean Ambrose.
We've got The Miz.
The Miz.
That's it.
That's the only thing, the lack of star power in SmackDown. You would say that
I would imagine that Bray, Randy, Luke
will fill it out a little bit. And I heard someone say, just before you do your predictions for 2017, that last year was a disappointing year in wrestling. For me, we've seen the wrestling industry grow exponentially.
I thought it was the best year in ages.
WWE Network has been a huge success. No one thought it would be. The brand split, all right, there are some things that we don't like about it so much, but at the end of the day, it's giving new talent, new opportunities.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that we're seeing 2 rival shows now, like WCW and WWE, that aren't having wrestlers going from either one or anything like that. The only one we've seen is The Undertaker, but he's a force unto his own.
Yeah.
And it's allowing us to see these 2 brands being created that are very, very different.
It's not only that, it's the talent that WWE have acquired over the last year. They've acquired AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, Gallows and Anderson, Bobby Roode, Eric Young.
We saw the returning Cassius.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Chris Hero. Actually, he was supposed to be the original member of the Shield, Chris Hero, instead of the big dog himself, Roman Reigns.
Well,
but when he went to New Japan Pro Wrestling, CM Punk, why don't you give... No, CM Punk wanted Chris Hero part of the Shield with Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose.
And they gave it to Mr. Reigns, part of the Wild Samoan family, as we know.
Yeah.
Very big part of that. So your 2017 predictions...
My 2017 predictions is that it will be even better. I think we will see the return of the Hardy brand to WWE, potentially on Raw. How good would that be?
Amazing.
Broken Matt Hardy, broken Rebby, and broken
Delete
Jeff on Raw to take the tag team titles. As far as Royal Rumble winner goes,
telling you, if you go for the same Royal Rumble winner as me, there's going to be hell to pay.
I don't think he'll win it. I don't think anyone from SmackDown will win it. I am going to go with Goldberg.
Okay.
It's either Goldberg or Lesnar, and I'm pointing towards Goldberg.
So the Beast doesn't get a little bit of a rub because he lost in 5 seconds.
They will be building up towards Spear versus Spear at Mania, or Spear versus Beast at Mania. Triple threat, Lesnar, Goldberg, Reigns.
Okay.
I think John Cena will win the title at the Royal Rumble. We will have our 16-time champion recognised.
The face that runs the place, better than the champ that runs the camp.
Yeah. We will see the big dog become a 4-time Universal Champion. And I think we will also see Chris Jericho lose the US title.
Okay. Do you see any of the NXT stars being brought up?
I think if you've got 1 or 2 surprise entrants, I think you
Samoa Joe?
I was going to say Nakamura and Roode. I think you could keep Samoa Joe down there a bit more to maybe feud with Cassius Ohno.
When you hear that glorious music, I mean, they have to keep that for Royal Rumble. If not this year, then the following. It's got to be kept, because that will, the crowd, in the same way they went off for AJ Styles, will go off massive for Roode.
So I think Nakamura and Roode could participate in the Royal Rumble. As to Mania, I think The Rock will have a match with who? I think H will face Seth. I think Cena will face Taker for the title.
And who do you think will win that if that's the case? Do you think Taker will go on his back, or do you think for once he'll go out winning and that'll be the end of The Undertaker?
This is difficult because on one hand you've got the face that has run the place over the last arguably 14 years, and you've got the immortal Undertaker. 23-2 doesn't have the same ring as 24-1.
Or 25-0.
Or 25-0.
But we can't unfortunately, we can't go back in time.
I've said I don't think Brock should have broken the streak. And I don't think Cena wins. I think the Undertaker would win that match.
I think so as well. And he goes out winning the title, and then there's a title tournament or something like that. I would like to see that.
I can see Brock Lesnar winning the title at Mania.
I'd like to see Brock win the title again at Mania.
Because I think...
Just because I want to see Paul Heyman on TV every week, to be honest.
Reigns versus Goldberg at Fastlane for the title, then you've got Goldberg versus Lesnar for the title at Mania.
I would like to say a little prediction. I think they're going to cut down on the amount of pay-per-views this year. I would like to see them do it, by the way. I think there should be probably 8 pay-per-views a year, one every 6 weeks.
Yeah.
You've got the 4 main ones, Royal Rumble.
Yeah, but the thing you've got is, you've got 2 separate brands now.
That is true. So you have to have brand separate pay-per-views at some point.
Maybe 1 every 2 weeks is a bit much, maybe 1 every month. You've got the 4 big pay-per-views, then give SmackDown 4 pay-per-views and Raw 4 pay-per-views. But other than that, 2017 is going to be a fantastic year for wrestling. Should
be a good year for wrestling. We're looking forward to it. And for us as well, because this is our show number, I think, 18?
Yeah.
But not a video number 18. We probably put up 22, 23 videos.
Yeah.
And last week, we got our biggest viewing figures. And now I know our first video's got a few views, but that's because it's been up for ages. Our biggest viewing figures ever, so thank you very much. And that's, I think, because we're posting it to Facebook and to YouTube and to Twitter and so on and so forth. We are at WWE Amigos.
Yep. And
don't you forget it.
Lastly, I'd like to apologise to Kevin Owens.
Your 2017 apology.
For saying that his title reign was the worst in WWE history.
Hashtag Owens for president. We've already tried to hashtag that. Also, hashtag Smacktalking Amigos. Hashtag STA, which is what our short name is. This is Mr. Kean Davidson. And I am Mr. James Bernard.
And we are the Smacktalking Amigos. Peace.
Peace.